Hi friends, I am Kurian TC Chartered Accountant. Today I discuss Section 6 of Income Tax Act 2025, Residence in India. The residential status of an individual or a person has a very good impact on tax liability and taxation of that person. So today we deal with the importance or determination of the residential status of a person for taxation purpose. This section provides definitions of terms non-resident and resident. The section 2, subsection 72. A non-resident means a person who is not a resident. That is the definition given for the term non-residents. But section 2, subsection 96 defines a resident means a person who is resident in India as per section 6. This is the definitions given by the Act for these terms. And we will find who is resident, who is non-resident, and who is not ordinarily resident. The subsection 1, the residential status in India in a tax year of a person shall be determined as per the provisions of this section. That means section 6 shall determine the residential status of a person. Subsection 2, an individual shall be resident in India if he is in India for a total period of 182 days or more in that tax year, or is in India cumulatively for 60 days or more during that year, and has been in India cumulatively for 365 days or more in the 4 years preceding such tax year. If an individual or person satisfies these conditions, one of these conditions, he will be resident in India. The first condition is he must be resident, he must be in India for more than 182 days. If he does not satisfy this condition, the next condition is cumulatively 60 days for the tax year and 365 days for the preceding tax 4 tax years. If we satisfy any one of these conditions, he will be considered as a resident. Subsection 3. This is an exception to this section. The provision of subsection 2b shall not apply in the case of an individual who is a citizen of India and leaves India in any tax year as a member of the crew of an Indian ship for the purpose of employment outside India. If these are the situation that an individual leaves India, this subsection 2b shall not apply to him. The subsection 4 gives an exclusion to subsection 2b in this way. The provisions of subsection 2b shall not apply subject to the provisions of subsection 5 in the case of an individual who is a citizen of India or a person of Indian origin and comes to visit India in any tax year. In that case, the provisions of subsection 2b shall not apply to him. But if that person, as per subsection 5, if that person earns more than rupees 15 lakhs in the tax year referred to in therein, then his residential status will be determined and the subsection 2b shall apply to him. Only with one change that the 60 days will be substituted with 120 days. The subsection 5 gives an exemption to subsection 4, that is, if the individual who comes to visit India or a citizen of India and Indian origin comes to visit India but he earns rupees 15 lakhs or more in that tax year from sources other than foreign sources. In that case, subsection 2b shall apply to him and the words 60 days will be substituted with 120 days. Subsection 6. For the purpose of subsection 2, if an individual is a citizen of India and a member of crew of a foreign bound ship leaving India, the total number of days in India in respect of that voyage shall be determined in such manner and subject to condition as may be prescribed. In this case, where the citizen of India who is a member of a crew of foreign bound ship, his number of days stayed in India will be determined as per the prescribed conditions. As per subsection 7, an individual shall be deemed to be resident in India for a tax year if he is a citizen of India. He is not liable to tax in any other country or territory due to his domicile residence or similar criteria, has total income exceeding rupees 15 lakhs during such tax year other than foreign sources, and he is not resident as per subsections of 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then subsection 7 shall come to picture. Then these conditions are satisfied. Then again that individual shall be deemed to be resident. That three conditions are: he is citizen of India, he is not taxed in any other country, his total income in Indian sources has exceeding rupees 15 lakhs. And these conditions are satisfied, that individual shall be deemed to be resident in India. And subsection 8 says, subsection 7 shall not apply to an individual who is resident for a tax year in India as per the subsections of 2 to 6. If they already discussed, if subsection 2, as per subsection 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, if an individual is resident, then subsection 7 will not come to picture. He is already resident. If as per these sections, the individual is not resident, then only this subsection 7 will come to picture and the subsection 7 will apply. Then in that section, if these three conditions are satisfied, he will be again resident. Subsection 9 says, in the case of an individual, firm or other association of persons, if the control and management of its affairs are situated wholly outside India, in that case, the association shall be non-resident. Otherwise, if the control and management is wholly situated in India, that association or firm or HEF shall be considered as resident. That is subsection 9. Subsection 10 is about the residential status of a company. The section says a company is said to be resident in India in any tax year if it is an Indian company, its place of effective management is in India. And the subsection B, clause B is where the effective management means the where commercial decisions are and conduct of business of the company as a whole are made or situated. So in these conditions, if the effective management, that is the business commercial decisions and conduct of business is situated in India, that company shall be treated as resident. Otherwise, it will be a non-resident company. Only two conditions: Indian company, effective management is in India. That is only two conditions in the case of a company. Very simple. Subsection 11, where every person is resident in India in any tax year, unless during that tax year the control and management of its affairs of such person is situated wholly outside India. Unless the control and management is situated wholly outside India, in that case, every other person shall be treated as resident. This is subsection 11. Subsection 12. If a person is resident in India in a tax year for any source of income, he shall be deemed to be resident in India in that tax year for each of his other source of income. It's a very simple. If a person is resident for one of his sources of income, he shall be resident for all other sources of income. So the same source shall apply, the same status shall apply for all sources of income. Subsection 13 gives a new status if these conditions are satisfied. Subsection 13. A person is not ordinarily resident in India in any tax year if that person is an individual who has been or a HUF whose manager has been a non-resident in India in 9 out of the 10 tax years preceding that tax year. Clause 2, in India cumulatively for 729 days or less in 7 tax years preceding that tax year. A person shall be considered as not ordinarily resident if these conditions, an individual or a chief, if in these two cases, and he is non-resident in 9 out of 10 tax years. He is non-resident for 9 out of tax years, and cumulatively 729 days or less in 7 tax years, he shall be considered as not ordinarily resident. If clause A is not satisfied, clause B comes to picture, and as per clause B, a citizen of India or a person of Indian origin whose total income excluding income from foreign sources exceeds rupees 15 lakhs during the tax year as mentioned in subsection 5, and who has been in India cumulatively for 120 days or more but less than 182 days during the tax year, or subclause C, a citizen of India who is deemed to be resident in India under subsection 7. In that case, the person shall be deemed to be resident, not ordinarily resident. Three phases. One, first phase is as per clause A. Second phase, as per clause B, exceeds rupees 15 lakhs. Stay lived in India for 120 days or more, but less than 182 days. And phase 3, this person is deemed to be resident as per subsection 7. If these conditions are satisfied, that person shall be a resident but not ordinarily resident. Subsection 14. For the purpose of this section, income from foreign sources means income which accrue or arise outside India and which is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. That is the foreign sources. Income accrue arise outside India uh, and not from Indian sources. That is income from foreign sources. Example 1. Mr. A stayed in India during the tax year 2025-26 to 200 days, stayed during preceding 4 years 900 days, and Mr. A is resident. Second example, B stayed in India during tax year 2025-26 190 days, resident in only 1 out of preceding 10 years, stayed during preceding 7 years 800 days. Hence, he satisfies first condition that stay exceeds 182 days or more. The first additional condition is not satisfied, so he is resident but not ordinarily resident. That is his status. Example 3, in the case of Mr. C, he stayed in India during tax year 2025-26 is 100 days, preceding 4 years is 220 days. So he does not satisfy the conditions. So he is a non-resident. Thank you.